Hey, it's Jonah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have a butterbeer latte from my favorite coffee shop. Basically, butterbeer latte is English toffee syrup and caramel syrup and latte form. I'm also wearing this new shirt that I got, and I actually got a haircut. When I'm filming this, it's been exactly 1 week since my court hearing, and I just kind of wanted to talk about my experience with how the whole thing went as far as fees and like expenses and changing things, and then the actual hearing itself. So back in mid-December, I decided that I wanted to fill out paperwork to get my name legally changed. In my state, you don't have to be 18 to do it by yourself. You have to be 14. Otherwise, you have to have a parent's signature. I filled out all the paperwork by myself. I filed everything by myself. I went to the hearing by myself, and I've been working on getting all of my stuff corrected by myself, and it's something that I really have to do alone because my parents are not really the most resourceful people and the most supportive people that are going to be able to like get me the resources I need. So it's been a lot like trying to do everything by myself, but I've been managing. Late December, I filed the paperwork. I brought it to my local courthouse and went to the clerk of courts, and I filed it with them, and to file it, the filing fee was $167, which I was like, ugh, and I had to pay that on the spot, but luckily I had the money for it then. And in my state, you have to publish in a newspaper for 3 weeks that you're changing your name, so that publication you had to pay for. So I had to take my information about court and take it to the local newspaper and have them publish that for 3 weeks, and then I had to pay for the expenses for that for 3 weeks, and that was about $70, I believe. Already, without even knowing if my name change would be granted to me or not, I was already spending nearly $170 at the courthouse, and then it was about $70 at the publication. My court hearing was set for February 9th, and I was like counting down the days, and obviously if you watched my court anxiety video, you would know that I was really stressing out about it, and just waiting for the day to come so I could get it over with, and not really knowing if I would get it granted to me. On the one hand, I wanted to be really optimistic and kind of attract good results to my optimism, but on the other hand, I was like, I can't get my hopes up too much because there's no guarantee that he will grant it to me. So February 9th came, and I went to the courthouse. I went there 15 minutes early, and I was wearing some khakis and a black dress shirt and a tie that my dad let me borrow, which was really nice of him. And I looked really nice, just saying, and I had like my folder with all of my paperwork in it that I would need. I went in the courthouse and then walked up the stairs to the courtroom, and I opened the door, and like there were 4 people in the room, and they were like all employees, and they all stopped their conversations completely and just like turned around and looked at me, and it was so awkward. Oh my god. It was the judge, the bailiff, a lady from clerk of courts, and then there was the lady that does like the typing thing, and they were like, "Are you here for the 11:30?" and I was like, yeah. And they were like, "Oh, okay, well we're not gonna start until 11:30," and I was like, "Oh no, that's fine, like I didn't think it was gonna start earlier, I just wanted to be here on time." And then like we just all sat in silence for like 15 minutes, and it was really awkward. Then he called the hearing, and there was nobody to object. There was nobody that came. It was just me. And the reason they have you publish it in the newspaper is so that people can come object if they want to, which is kind of like a really upsetting thing as it is though, because it's like, you know what, if I'm having my name changed, it is none of anybody else's goddamn business. It's my name, like. And they were like, "Okay, go up to the stand," and I had to take my oath, and it was really scary. And I sat down, and he started asking me questions about like the stuff that was on my request for name change sheet. He started asking me questions along the lines of, is this your name? Like, is this the city you were born in? Is this the like the county you were born in? Who are your parents? And that kind of thing. And then he was like, "And what do you want to change your name to?" And I was like, "Jonah Oliver." And he was like, "Okay, why do you want to change your name?" And I had watched a few videos from trans people, like, and their stories, and it really psyched me out because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to tell the judge that I'm trans because I feel like then he'll have some kind of bias and he just doesn't want to deal with that. And I don't want to deal with that. I want my name change to be granted to me. So when he said that, I was like, should I say it? I was like, I don't know if I should tell him I'm trans. And then I was like, well, I don't really know what to say otherwise. So I just said it. I was like, it's because I'm transgender. And he was like, oh. And then he was like, so would you prefer for us to be calling you Mr.? And I was like, well, yeah, that would be really nice. So then he was just kind of like, okay, well, that's all the questions we have, you can go sit back down. So I went back to the table and sat down. He was basically like, well, you're allowed to change it like by yourself, you don't need a parent signature. I looked into that just to make sure. There's no objections for this, and I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to change it, so the name change is going to be granted. Amen! I wanted to cry. I was so happy, and I was just like trying to keep my smile contained. I was like, this is happening. He closed the case, and then I had to go talk to clerk of courts about getting my new birth certificate, and then I just had to follow their instructions as far as how to file everything. And so I had to order a new birth certificate and then also like a copy because my mom wanted a copy. And then I had to like pay for the court fees, and when that was all said and done, it was $45 for the rest of court. And then I had to take my birth certificate like request form or whatever to the Register of Deeds, and that was $30. Now it's a matter of getting things changed, and if that stuff costs money, like your driver's license costs money to get a new one. I have not gone to get my driver's license yet. I made it to the Social Security office that same day, so I'm waiting on my new birth certificate. I just got my new Social Security card in the mail, and I changed everything for my bank account. My dad is getting my stuff for insurance changed over, and then the last like big thing that I'm really waiting on right now is doing my driver's license. We've had some complications trying to get that figured out, so we're kind of on a standstill with that. I was able to handle everything by myself. I think that's just like a really big achievement for myself because I'm a very socially anxious person, and I am always relying on other people to do everything for me because I physically cannot do it. And this was something that I really wanted done. And so for me to be able to take what I needed to take and have the money that you needed to have and do everything by myself without any help from my parents, that's like really awesome. I hate to like be up on my high horse, but that's a big deal for me. I'm just really happy that I'm officially Jonah Oliver, and it's just like, oh my god, I was so happy after the fact. And I'm also really thankful for all of you guys who sent me all your positive vibes and all of your well wishes and just giving me the support that I needed that my parents weren't giving me. Mine was really smooth, and I think the fact that I said I was trans, my judge was like more in favor of it because he was like, oh, so you're changing it from like a female name to a male name? And I was like, yes. And then he was like really chill and like used the right pronouns. And like at the end of my court date, like after we had closed the case, he said, congratulations, Mr. Gerhards. And I was like, I was so happy. It was almost like the anxiety was worth it because I got to feel so happy after the fact. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those, and as always, you can leave requests for videos down there. I will talk about basically anything. Yeah, you can give this video a thumbs up and share it with somebody if you think it might be helpful to them. I don't really know. I hope you guys all have a very good day, and I will see you in a video very soon. Peace and love.